Last 49ers update from the city of San Francisco for this season. Look where we are, the M stop. Joe Montana, Jerry Rice on the train. He's had a good sandwich, and we'll tell you that Joe Woods will not be the 49ers defensive backs coach next year. He had been a candidate to fill the vacancy that was created when Daniel Bullocks left to the Green Bay Packers, but Woods will be retained by the Raiders. So he's going nowhere. Clint Kubiak, new head coach of the Raiders, worked with Woods in New Orleans, and he's going to keep him aboard on that staff. So the 49ers still looking for a DB coach. 49ers may also be looking for running back 2 this season. How about this video from Stanford talking about Christian McCaffrey, who I think has some parallels with Steph Curry. How about a walk around Stanford on this beautiful afternoon? The land of Christian McCaffrey. Good spot to wonder if the 49ers push all in on offense this offseason. And by that I mean, will they go higher priced running back 2? Maybe somebody like Rachaad White to complement McCaffrey. Because Christian, I mean, he's been a workhorse his entire NFL career. And I think that you've got to put a lot of what happened in 2025 in perspective. Christian McCaffrey was healthy for the whole season after he was on the injury report week 1. Like, you know, I think this was shocking to a lot of people because they had assumed that Christian McCaffrey would be the guy who wouldn't be available for the whole season. Where the 49ers had essentially everyone hurt, but Christian McCaffrey stayed available. Can you count on that for a second straight year if you're the 49ers? That I'm not sure about, so maybe San Francisco does make a bigger investment in that running back 2 position. This is the back of Memorial Church at Stanford. Really cool. Jim Harbaugh used to go to Mass here every single week when he was the coach of Stanford. And you know whose memorial service was here at Memorial Church was Bill Walsh, who was the coach of Stanford before he moved over to the 49ers, just like Harbaugh a few decades later. But you know, that running back spot for San Francisco, Rachaad White, who was with Tampa Bay over the last 4 years, good versatile back, I think he'd probably cost somewhere between $5 and $10 million. In years past, the 49ers have obviously allocated a ton of money to Christian McCaffrey and then have found bargain rookie deals for the other running backs. They traded for Brian Robinson this past year. He's no longer under contract beyond this season with the 49ers. So it would be a shift if they decided to dedicate another $5 to $10 million to the running back position. But since Christian is so much more than a back, I think that it would be financially acceptable for the 49ers since you're getting, you know, that receiving production out of Christian McCaffrey, and then you could get some of the rushing production to take a load off of Christian from elsewhere. During the Super Bowl, I talked about Kenneth Walker. This is the quad at Stanford, by the way. You see the famous Spanish-style arches. This is the front of Memorial Church. You take those steps into the church, and then if you look this way, Spanish-style arches, and then you step out into the quad itself, and you've got Hoover Tower in the background. Beautiful stuff. We'll continue walking over here toward the Oval, and that's where we could finish the show. But you know, I saw Kenneth Walker run in that Super Bowl, and it's like, wow. The explosion that this guy brought to the table. You have to say, when you see something like that, what would the 49ers offense look like if they're able to pair Christian McCaffrey with a younger, explosive, physical back? I mean, Kenneth Walker was really able to do it all. 135 yards in the Super Bowl, that's why he was the MVP. I think the fact that Seattle won and the fact that Walker was the MVP of that performance probably means that the Seahawks are going to, you know, do all that they can to keep him. They may even franchise tag him at a very high price of like $14 million. So might not be feasible for the 49ers or any other team to make a run at Kenneth Walker. Here's that Stanford sunshine, by the way. I mean, no wonder Christian McCaffrey was happy here. He's in that Stanford Athletics Hall of Fame. It was cool to see his plaque there. 368 all-purpose yards in the Rose Bowl. I think he had like 461 all-purpose yards in the preceding game, the Pac-12 championship against USC at Levi's Stadium. I believe Sam Darnold might have been the quarterback already for USC. Maybe not, maybe he was on that team, but hadn't started yet. But Christian McCaffrey, I covered those games here at Stanford, was absolutely awesome. You know, just like the beauty of this campus. Look, if we turn around this way, that's the way that we're walking. We're gonna go out toward the Oval, which is iconic here. But Kenneth Walker, I think, really illustrated what a explosive kind of A-list level performer can do in a game where you've got a great defense, where you're trying to control the clock, and obviously the Seattle Seahawks controlled everything with their defense, and with Sam Darnold playing good, efficient football. The 49ers offensively, the first emphasis has got to be on separation and developing that separation on the outside, receiver-wise. But if they can add at that running back room in a way that allows them to take a load off of what Christian McCaffrey has to contribute, I think that they can make this offense very, very sustainable into 2025 or 2026 and possibly beyond. And, you know, just overall team building strategy, San Francisco might be following the Rams model, which, I mean, the Rams just a year ago were the lowest in defensive spend across the entire NFL. They were number 32 in defensive spend. All money pushed into the offense. Defense, very young for the Rams, especially outside of their core players who then retired. Aaron Donald was gone. So I think that's the way that at least one team building formula in this league works, is push everything in on offense and then let that defense operate with youth and energy. And maybe the 49ers try to do something similar. And if they do that, then running back 2 is something that you could really, really focus on if you're San Francisco. So there's Memorial Court at Stanford. Behind us is that cathedral where Bill Walsh had his memorial service. And then you could flip it around to the Oval and Palm Drive